Money is very powerful, and sometimes saying no to it is more powerful.
My mom reinforced, you don't start things and not finish them. You don't quit. There's nothing that comes out of...
What are you fearful about? Something that will happen or you think will happen, isn't it? Fear is always about something which does not exist right now, it's always about what will happen. So you are suffering that which does not exist.
We didn't actually come up with the name Tesla Motors. We didn't own the name. It was a guy in Sacramento came up with the name and owned the name, and we had to buy it off him for $75,000.
You wanted that name that badly?
Yeah. The guy in Sacramento really didn't want to sell us the name either. I sent the nicest guy in the company to just go sit on his doorstep and not leave until he agreed to sell it to us.
A sweet guy.
The nicest, impossible to anger, nicest person. So eventually just the guy said, fine, I'll sell you the name.
If you leave my doorstep.
Yeah, pretty much.
One of the issues with social media, it's been pointed out by many people, is that I think maybe particularly Instagram, people look like they have a much better life than they really do. People are posting pictures of when they're really happy. They're modifying those pictures to be better looking. Even if they're not modifying the pictures, they're at least selecting the pictures for the best lighting, the best angle. So people basically seem they're way better looking than they basically really are, and they're way happier seeming than they really are. One of the issues with social media, it's been pointed out by many people, is that I think maybe particularly Instagram, people look like they have a much better life than they really do. People are posting pictures of when they're really happy. They're modifying those pictures to be better looking. Even if they're not modifying the pictures, they're at least selecting the pictures for the best lighting, the best angle. So people basically seem they're way better looking than they basically really are, and they're way happier seeming than they really are.
Following your dreams is never easy, really, because, you know, it's going to take work, and it's going to take dedication, and it's going to take focus, and it's going to take drive. But as long as you really love it, and you really want it, and you keep that laser focus, then nothing is impossible.
Eagles fly alone. Zuckerberg has no mates. Elon Musk has no mates. Steve Jobs had no mates. Bill Gates has no mates. And I can go on and on and on and on. They don't hang. They don't chill. They don't go to the Super Bowl. They don't go to the World Cup. They don't go to Wimbledon. All they do is work.
You can buy a house, but not a home. With money, you can buy a clock, but not time. With money, you can buy a bed, but not sleep. With money, you can buy food, but not appetite. With money, you can buy a doctor, but not good health. With money, you can have insurance, but not safety. And this is the problem that we all have. There are things that you cannot buy with material wealth, with money.
You got to believe first. If you don't believe first, then you ain't gonna never get to where you're trying to get to. I believe. I knew I knew from the beginning I was the best in boxing from day one.
You knew you was the shit no matter what.
I just knew I was better than every other fighter. And to this day, that it would never be a fighter better than me, never.
When we say goodbye, we can't.
Success is like being pregnant. Everyone says congratulations, but nobody knows how many times you got fucked.
How many cars did your father have when you were 5?
Yeah, small cars, yeah, many.
Okay. Toys, but did he have an actual car?
No.
He didn't even have a car. No. How many cars do you have right now?
If you're chasing money, it runs. If you're making money, it's different. All right? So for people that are entrepreneurs, there's no cut in the corner. There's no magic bullet. There's no cheat sheet. It's really simple, as complex as it may sound. Hard work. Work hard. Believe in yourself. They tell me all the time, Chico, you're so lucky, Chico. I said, man, you know what's funny? The harder I work, luckier I get. It's really that simple.
Don't post everything you think. Don't. Just don't. If you're watching this right now, if anybody is watching this, don't post your feelings. Don't do it to yourself.
There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time.
These principles, you'll learn them on day one. You'll think that you know them on day two, but you spend your whole life trying to realize them.
Yes.
And that's the challenge with us, that we take what we learn on day one and what we know on day two to be like, I already know that.
Yes, exactly.
And then the teaching gets to like reveal itself to you. It's like, it's always opening up. It's like a lotus flower. It's always blooming.
Today, maybe tomorrow, and maybe not the next month. Pero only one thing is true. I will be champion one day. I promise. I promise. But you never feel love. I've been with you from dusk till dawn. I've been with you from dusk till dawn. Baby,
Lazy people do a little work and think they should be winning, but winners work as hard as possible and still worry if they're being lazy.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, and you don't really love it, you're going to give up.
There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time.
Once you come face to face with who you are, you have a starting point. All right, I'm not real smart. I have no courage. I have no self-esteem. I have no nothing. Nothing. That's my starting point. Now we can move from there. But if I tell myself I'm strong, I have courage, I'm smart, and all these are lies, you continuously push that starting point backwards.
Calm down. Breathe. Sometimes you gotta get through your fear to see the beauty on the other side.
What are you fearful about? Something that will happen or you think will happen, isn't it? Fear is always about something which does not exist right now, it's always about what will happen. So you are suffering that which does not exist.
The biggest thing I'd say is…
The key with me is just always finding what the anchor is. And the anchor is getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day before anybody else and grounding my thought process is in the no one will outwork me. No one. I love and I respect you guys. Motherfucker won't outwork me. All starts with this. 2 hands, putting it to work.
Definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. Yeah, I think that's what greatness is or should be. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire. Definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. Yeah, I think that's what greatness is or should be. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire.
You guys are recession proof also. Find a way. Find a way. Know what y'all want to do. You know, you can't wait till even if you can be 30, you can be 40, you can be 50. You still got a chance. I'm 44 and I'm still making hundreds of millions.
Success is like being pregnant. Everyone says congratulations, but nobody knows how many times you got fucked.
The ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it?
I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for having no days off. I want to thank me for never quitting.
You should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful. But you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. It's like you're paying a price by sitting there being miserable. You might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. It's like, don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking. Yeah, and if you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older.
If you want me to be the bad guy, I'll be the bad guy. If you want me to be the good guy, I'll be the good guy. But I have no problem being both. Sometimes it's better to be the bad guy, because then you know really what the person think about you. Because when they say they like you, you don't know if they like you. But when they say they hate you, then you know they really hate you. But I make haters become my fan. That's my problem. So I need more haters.
If I were to do this, or if I were to give you, are you strong enough? Are you capable of being someone that's going to be in my life? That's how I approach things now. And I'm not being conceited. I'm saying it's actually an honor to be with me, because I think I'm a great person and I love people deeply, and I won't tolerate ever being treated the way that I have been.
A high school English teacher, Mr. Fisk, I actually paid attention one time in class, and he said, he had this beautiful quote, and it read, "Rest at the end, not in the middle." And I took that to heart. I believe there's time for resting at the end, but for me, that time is not now. To have a dream, sacrifice for it, and never ever rest in the middle.
Education is not the most important thing. Do you know how many people I know with the education that ain't working? You know how many people I know with degrees ain't got no job? Do you know how many people I know with multiple degrees ain't making no money? The single most important thing in your life is your dream. It's your dream. It's what you dream about.
You would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history.
Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, I'll never get out of this. So they won't. I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, well, you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day.
There's a reason it's lonely at the top. Right? And it's not because you want to be surrounded with other individuals. That's not the part people, when they talk about it's lonely at the top. It's alone because nobody understands what's going on in here. Of what after you've just won, what you went through, and you're already thinking about the next.
The fact that I'm gonna die one day and that everyone around me is gonna die and no one will remember me after a certain point makes me feel so good. Like, because I could do the best thing in the world and nobody would remember it ever, and I'll die and it won't matter, and everyone else around me will die and it won't matter. Or I could do the worst thing in the world and that won't matter because I'll die.
Following your dreams is a lonely, solitary, scary, dangerous pursuit. You can't wait for somebody to think you can do it. And you got to be willing to risk everything to become that seed of what you believe is in there. You got to be fearless. You got to be relentless.
Fear is my friend. I love fear. Fear allows me to reach my highest potential. The fear of failing is an illusion. Fear is an illusion, but we have to have desire. We have to have something that pushes us. Fear pushes us.
I would have to be insane if I thought the odds were in my favor.
Why even begin?
When something is important enough, you do it even though the odds are not in your favor.
How much of your personal fortune have you poured into this?
$100 million.
$100 million into something that you did not believe would work at the beginning.
Yes.
What's the best piece of advice you ever got?
Learn when to say no. Learn when to say no.
What's the worst piece of advice you ever got?
YOLO. You only live once.
Your life is a book. You got a bunch of chapters in your book, but when they close that book, how good was the book? How good was your book? What was the ending to your book? If the ending to my book can be so amazing because of all that was done, not the money, all that was accomplished.
Why do I need to make 100 decisions a day? If I make like 3 good decisions a day, that's enough. And they should just be as high quality as I can make them.
Don't try to be the best. Be the first. Be the first to change. Be the first to take the challenge. Be the first one to overcome the difficulties. Because the best person, there's only one Olympic champion.
This quote by Russell Barkley where he said, people who need the most love ask for it in the most unloving ways.
Absolutely.
It sounds crazy, but somehow they are seeking love.
Absolutely.
When you kind of put that in your head, you're like, oh, like that's just a plea, a begging.
Yeah.
A literal, like, it's not even a proposal, it's like a demand.
It's a demand, absolutely.
People are going to constantly judge us, whether we go after big dreams or do nothing. We're going to be judged. Either way, if we sit on a couch all day, our parents and our friends are going to be, you're lazy, do something with your life. If we go chase after the most audacious dreams we have, a lot of people are going to attack us and try to bring us down. So we might as well go do something with our lives and say thank you for the feedback and move on.
Quitting, besides knowing that you didn't finish. We finish everything. You start it, finish it. If you're going to do it to try and be the best. Not be better than other people, be the best for you.
Make 1,000,000 mistakes. Just quit wasting your energy making the same mistakes. You have to make a decision that I will learn from this thing.
Life is short and it's fragile, and we don't know how many birthdays we have, so we don't have to have a birthday to celebrate, just celebrate life. And if you haven't told someone you love them, do it now. Do it. Tell people you love them. Call your friends, text your friends, hug them, kiss them. Be nice to the people.
Audio Jungle.